industry report, which is mostly going to be about Star Citizen Alpha 3.12. So here we go. Let's jump straight to it.
First, let's take a look at the current progress for the Lagrange point gas clouds, intended to come online in the upcoming Alpha 3.12. These particular clouds are designed to add color and texture to the various rest stops found throughout the Stanton system. Now that the parent and child gas cloud tech is...
I remember when they were talking about parent and child gas cloud. Yeah, that was these are weird terms that I get it, right? It's like the denser glass cloud inside the bigger glass cloud. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, these look, again, very nicely updated lighting here.
Ready for implementation.
And we should have, by the way,
on deck,
we should have the PTU very soon for 3.12.
Specific palette so that clouds closer to the sun appear warmer and those that are on the outer reaches present cooler.
Wow, look at that here. That's looking very nebulae-ish. Very nice render here. Good job, CIG. A little golf clap here. Very nice. So long as when we're flying through, we see color as well and not just a haze. We'll see, Warren. These clouds should not be as dense as actual clouds. It's space after all, right? So that wouldn't be very realistic. And yeah, the fuel scoops are not working. Well, they are. They are working, Parker, but they don't consume a lot of fuel. They don't scoop a lot of fuel. For example, running my Mercury Starner, I was able to get. I remember I was like at 79%. At some point, magically, I went up to 80%. So I suppose that's because of the fuel scoop, right? No, Incarus, you didn't miss anything important. We just started the spring report.
What you're seeing here is their first pass through many of the Lagrange point stops in the system. And once they've hit all of them, artists will double back and fine-tune each one.
Oh, they've updated the little approach lights for those stations. I like those perimeters here, which maybe give you an indicator as of when you should start contact the ATC, which, sometimes, we don't know when. When is it time to contact the ATC? Try to press 11. Oh, the ATC is not there, right? And press again. Oh, it's not there. And then press again. Oh, finally it's there. So if we could have a queue to give us a better indication as of when we should have the ATC. I know that it's there because there's like a message that says contact ATC to line, but it's usually so close. It's a bit disturbing.
Ahead of their intended release next month. Lighting artists are also currently working to place the various key lights, secondary lights, and shadow casters for
That's
the
a lot of lights.
refinery decks.
What did we see here? Medical? What's that here? What do we have in refinery decks here? Medical. Are we going to be able to buy med pens or other medical stuff here? Are we going to have some of those medical kiosks in the future? Because we know medical gameplay is coming in the future. What is this? Maybe that's a little Easter egg here for the future. It starts in 2021.
These tools are often used to add additional texture and detail to any location, or to make them pop, as Ian might say.
Make them pop.
The challenge here is always the same.
Cool.
To create a dynamic and visceral look that makes a place feel vibrant and alive, while not going overboard, so we remain...
So there we have refinement services. I suppose that's where you'll be able to refine your goods there. So yeah, there's only one place to sell ore. Yes, in the future, that's where we'll be selling ore. There will be no other places. Why would you sell ore to places that, that you want to sell your ore at the refinery so that it can be refined? This is how we saw it last week, right? So this is how it's going to work. You go to the refinery, and you don't sell your ore at the refinery, by the way. Who was asking? Yeah, JT, you are not going to sell your ore at the refinery. You are actually going to pay the refinery. So the refinery refines your ore, turns it into actual materials, just like the ones that you have at the outposts. And then you're not going to have, if let's say you have, for example, gold. You're not going to have raw gold. You are going to have the actual refined gold that industries are going to use. That's going to be not in your prospector anymore, because the machine over there will assign an actual cargo ship. You're going to have to get a cargo ship to ship your refined ore to then a cargo deck or a TDD, a trade department at Lorville CBD or New Babbage or whatever, right? So that's how it's going to work. They are not going to be refinery stations everywhere. I think that you are going to have to go to those specific refinery stations to refine your ore. I don't think that you'll be able to do that planet side.
Informative for players in the game client. After this work, they'll begin fine-tuning things like smoke and atmosphere from the giant smelter.
Look at that. There's a some kind of raw material right here. Some kind of big rock. Looks looking super cool.
As well as placing the various fixtures in to match the lighting they've set once that's been locked down. Work also continues on fleshing out the docking area add-ons for existing space stations throughout Stanton.
Why do we have a docking service? Are we going to have to go to a counter and request docking or pay a fee?
With this look at some of the work being done on the interior areas players may find themselves in when they arrive. Now this sprint was all about adding in details like branding, the docking services area, what's behind the docking services area counter where you're not supposed to go.
Are we going to have data? Are we going to be able to hack ship manifests so that we know where ships are going to go and then maybe intercept them and steal them? Is that something that pirates are going to be interested in? Who is a pirate here in the chat? Please let me know in the chat if you're a pirate and you're and you're excited for that.
Secondary details along the floor like parallax occlusion mapping, and an observation deck where players can wait for their friends to arrive or just watch the big giant spaceships come in.
Yeah, I would totally do that. Just look at the big giant spaceships come in, dock, and as soon as we have NPCs, I think this is going to be a very interesting place for people to watch when we're finally going to have Quanta and the NPCs going around. It's going to be a very exciting place. I know that lots of people like to watch trains in real life, in train stations or planes, and we're not going to be able to do that in Star Citizen 2 here.
Switching gears for a bit, it's been a while since we've checked in on the Pyromaniacs in VFX.
Oh,
and
not
just
again.
completed a sprint focused on the addition of Convection Propagation, where the calculations that determine how a fire spreads throughout a room or across a surface will now include the influence of gravity, wind speed, and wind direction. The cone you see here represents which affected volumes within its path will be affected by convection, where it heats up both voxels and entities alike. And then the wind speed, direction, and gravity are retrieved on a per room basis. This is important as it allows the system to pre-calculate some of the values involved, a necessary aspect in making a system that can perform not just for a single player, but for everyone in a multiplayer environment.
Okay, all right. You probably guess that I'm not excited about fire. I don't like fire. I get it. It's going to be realistic. It's going to provide extra gameplay. All right. It's just I'm fine. I'm fine not having fire in my ships right now in the verse. And I know that it's going to be a living, breathing universe, but just I don't want fire in my ship. CIG. It's like I don't want my ships to overheat. It's like I get it. It's a simulation. I get it. But I don't want that to happen.
And in honor of IAE going on this week, here's a look at some of the interior progress going on for the Crusader.
Good catch, Jeff Hawk. Yep.
These images are from the engineering section on the top level. Now that Greybox phase is complete for this section, meaning they've validated the location for all components and subcomponents. Wow, that ship is so
massive, and we could see that in a trolling video from CIG, when we had Jackson McClary in the C2 Hercules. That ship is it going to be as big? I want to know how that ship has increased in size compared to the concept. Is it as big as an 890 jump now? Because it looks really massive.
Ensuring everything fits as it should, the traversal needs for player characters to get everywhere they need to get, and that no surprises have crept up along the way, this section will begin to transition to final art, where vehicle artists will begin the detail work necessary to bring this area of the ship up to the high standards we expect of Crusader Industries vehicles.
I can't wait. And Warren McKenzie says he upgraded his Caterpillar for a C2. I also did that. I upgraded a Starfarer to a C2. I know I wanted to give away. I'm sorry to all my Patreons and John Button members, guys. I know I know I said I would give away a staffer in December on Discord, but the upgrade from staffer, I didn't know the staffer was $300. I didn't know, so I thought, oh, it's $300, $360. That's a good deal, especially now the loaner. The loaner for the C2 Hercules is not just one loaner, but two loaners. Got the Caterpillar and the Mercury Star Runner at the same time. So we're gonna get that C2 Hercules. So if you're a John Better member or a Patreon on Discord, we'll be giving away instead a Super Hornet. We'll be giving away a Super Hornet in December. So yeah, I think it's also a good price. All right, let's keep on going.
Finally, to wrap things up this week, we can announce that the Nova tank, the classic battlefield warrior reimagined for the 30th century by Tumbrel Land Systems, has begun its adventure from concept to reality, with this
finally
its first steps into white box phase.
All right, white box phase. It kind of looks like the model that we have in the hologram, but it's good to see that it is in white box phase. It is in production. We should be able to see it in 2021 then. And that's something that we've been also talking about for quite some time. It would make sense to have it, in a Paro system, because Paro system is going to have some shady installations there. The UE is not going to be there, so there's going to be stuff open for destruction, if you see what I mean. So it does make sense to have this kind of vehicle. It's going to be fantastic in theaters of war as well. Why don't we hear about theaters of war? What's going on with theaters of war, right? So it could be another reason why they're working on it. And the C2 Hercules is also coming up in the future. These things do fit in the C2 Hercules, so that ship is going to be able to transport them, right? It would be cool to sabotage the tracks here. Says that's super cool. That's super cool.
The Nova is a massive beast that looks to change the face of ground combat in the persistent universe when it arrives. And we're very proud to announce that it's just taken its first step on its journey through the vehicle pipeline. So what did we learn this week?
Fantastic. Who is a tank owner here? This is fantastic news. I think that it's $105. It's quite. That thing is gonna do a lot of damage. That thing is gonna be quite powerful, so I think it's a good deal also, $105. Anyway, I don't want to advocate for people to spend more money they've already had in Star Citizen, but very tempting, those upgrades that are available right now. Anyway, guys, that's all that we'll be talking about here in this live stream. I gotta go to work, but thank you so much to all the people who showed today during the live stream. You guys are awesome as always. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. This is the Eradicator. See you guys next time.